And hello, Winnipeg. It's Bo Kaufman, Remax Performance Realty, your residential real estate expert. Whether you're looking to buy or sell a house or a condo, give me a call. I'd love to help you out. So at this live event today, what I'm going to do is give you a quick feedback on what the condo market and the housing market is doing. And I think you'll be impressed and surprised by how quickly things are starting to pick up. When we say spring market, sometimes people think, well, it's March or April. Not necessarily. It's depending on the weather, it can start as early as mid-February. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to recommend two trusted service providers. If you're a homeowner, you might want to know these kind of people. I've been in business now for 12 years, and that's allowed me to make contact and connections in a variety of industries, from travel agents to mortgage brokers, to lawyers, to home inspectors, that kind of thing. So what I'm going to try and do going forward is every time I have a live event, I'm going to pick two of those service providers and tell you about them. And maybe that's how we're going to start today. So I'm going to start with an electrician. Do you need an electrician? So if your house, for example, has 60 amp service, or you've got aluminum wiring, or you've got knob and tube wiring, or you're trying to build a garage or a basement, an electrician can be like your second best friend, next to your realtor, of course. So let's take aluminum wiring. I've been told, and I've got it on very good authority, that major insurance companies are getting very, very fussy about aluminum wiring. So that if you're the buyer of a house and the house has aluminum, they are now demanding that a lot of the buyers have electrical inspections done as soon as they move in, or even before they move in. So here's a hint. If you're looking at buying a house in certain areas of the city, take, for example, Windsor Park, St. James, Fort Richmond, North Kildonan, just to name a few. And if that house is built between 1960 and 1976, be aware there's a pretty good chance that the house has aluminum wiring. Now, aluminum in and by itself is not an issue. Don't be scared off by it. It's still good wiring. They still use it in commercial applications simply because it's much cheaper than copper. Where the problems come is when a previous owner has done upgrades to the house and hasn't done them correctly. So, for example, if you go to Home Depot right now and you buy a new light switch, and it's about $1.29, but if you buy an aluminum rated light switch, it'll cost you about $8. So if a homeowner is looked at upgrading 40 or 50 light switches and receptacles, and they're looking at $1.29 versus $8, quite often they'll grab the $1.29, even though it's not the safe thing to do. So insurance companies are aware of this, and they're demanding that buyers get an inspection. And so I've got a great connection for that. I've had some experience with that. I've had a listing where it was a side-by-side. It was 800 square feet, and the owners needed to replace, or the new buyer needed to replace 40 receptacles and certify all the lights, and it ended up costing him just under $1,500. Now, that's not the end of the world, but it's also not a hit you want to take when you're moving into the house without having any expectations of it. Now, that's aluminum. Don't get me started on knob and tube. Knob and tube, there are companies out there right now that are charging an arm and two legs to remove knob and tube wiring. And I hear estimates of $25,000, $30,000, especially if you have an older home in like River Heights and it's 2.5 stories. So if you're selling such a home, it might be a good idea to have the inspection done and get a written estimate. Because buyers will come in, they've heard those stories, and they'll say, oh, it's got knob and tube, it's going to cost me $30,000, when in reality, it might only be $14,000. Okay, so get a written estimate so that you can show the buyer what it is in black and white. Again, if you need an electrician, call me, 204-333-2202. Email me at bonowshomes@gmail.com, or send me a message on Facebook, and I'll be very happy to put you in touch with the electrician. All right, so let's take a look at what the market's doing. And the first thing we're going to see, just going to get rid of this one, and we're going to show the entry-level condos. Right now, what I consider entry-level condos are condos between $100,000 and $250,000. So I've looked at the market as of February 15th. I always look at it in the middle of the month. And on February 15th, there was 309 condos available. And the previous month, there was 278. So that the availability hasn't changed all that much. But as far as sold condos go, in the past month, we've sold 48 in that price range in Winnipeg, and the month before we only sold 19. So the market is more than doubled, and that is, again, the month before would have been over Christmas and over New Year's, so the market there traditionally is quite a bit slower. Let's look at some condos in the higher price ranges. We've got condos above $250,000. Right now, we've got 240 available, and the previous month it was 209. So just a slight increase, maybe 12% or so. But as far as sales go, in the past month, we've sold 34 in this price range. The previous month before that was only 23. So that's a slight increase. And wait till I'll show you the stats for the housing market. It's even more significant. Now, if you're looking at buying a house, whether it's your first house or you're downsizing or upsizing and you haven't bought real estate in the last 5 or 10 years, you might want to take in what they call a home buyer seminar. It gives you all kinds of information. I've got a better idea than a seminar, and that is an online webinar. During this webinar, you can take this in from the comfort of your home. You can take it on your mobile device, any computer that has a speaker system. So during this seminar, I'll be talking about the whole buying process. I'm going to give you all your mortgage options, and I'm going to talk about how to write winning offers and stuff. So how do you get to this? Actually, I've got 4 spots a week for this webinar: Tuesday evening, Thursday evening, Saturday morning, and Sunday afternoon. So you can pick the one that suits your timetable, and this is how you get to it. You go to winnipeg.tips/buyer webinar. Once you get on that landing page, you're going to see a short video. You can shut the video off. You don't have to watch it. And you can select the date and time that best suits you. There's no obligation. There's no cost for this. winnipeg.tips/buyer webinar. One word, buyer webinar. So I hope to see you there. All right, so let's go on with the next point. And that is, now let's look at the entry-level houses. Now, I define entry-level houses at 100,000 to 250. Obviously, you can still buy houses under 100. It's not my specialty market. It's not something that I really get into a lot. You buy a house under 100,000, there's either the house needs lots of work or the area is somewhat sketchy. So 100 to 250,000, we currently have 267 of these homes available. The month before was 279. So inventory actually has dropped a little bit. Now let's look at the sales. In the past month, entry-level homes, we've sold 147, and the month before that was 81. So that's nearly doubled in sales, and that's because it's the start of the spring market. Mid-range homes, this is really Winnipeg's most popular price range. It goes from $250,000 all the way up to $500,000. Currently, there are 455 homes available in that price range in Winnipeg, as compared to 435 the previous month. So the number is roughly the same, but sales, in the last month, we've sold 206 in this price range as opposed to 90. So that's more than doubled the sales. So there's a lot of buyers are starting to come out now. I had an open house in Charlotteswood a couple of weeks ago. There was easily 25 couples came through. So now is a good time. If you're looking to sell or buy, give me a call, because if you're looking to sell, right now is the time to start looking at it. It might take you a couple of weeks to get everything, everything ready, and you'll hit the spring market just right. Now, luxury homes in Winnipeg, RE/MAX calls luxury homes anything from $500,000 and up, all the way up to that $11 million house on Wellington Crescent. Now, please, if you're looking to buy an $11 million house, call me. My wife is down in Phoenix, and she told me she needs more shoes. So I'd love to sell you an $11 million house, but the reality is that houses like that, they do take a little bit longer to sell. Anything over $500,000, it doesn't fly off the shelf quite as quickly in Winnipeg as the $260,000 houses. So currently, we have 179 available as opposed to 165 the previous month. So that's not much of a change. But the sales, in the past month, we've sold 23 homes, over $500,000. The month before that was just 6. So that is starting to pick up nicely as well. And I'm sure that next month we're going to see those numbers keep going up. So that's the market update. As for the second service provider I've promised you, and if you look outside, it doesn't look like landscape season. But if you're thinking of doing your yard cleanup in May or so, now is actually a good time to start booking your appointment, because these people, the quality people, will start to fill up. Now, landscapers, anybody with a wheelbarrow and a shovel can call himself a landscaper, but the one I've got is actually a certified arborist. His staff includes 3 Red Seal journeyman landscapers, and they're licensed to use things like pesticides and insecticides. As far as in landscape industry, I'm very impressed with this gentleman. He's my landscaper. He's landscaped my neighbors, and they're very responsible. So he's been doing this for decades. Some of his staff are students. You'll meet the gentleman. He's not going to be the one that's going to swing an axe and swing a pick, but he's got a very good business going, very responsible, and super knowledgeable. Even to the point of installing stone patios, tree removal, putting in or taking out entire flower beds. So big jobs or small jobs, just yard cleanups, anything. If you're looking for a landscaper, again, give me a call, 204-333-2202, or send me an email at bonoshomes@gmail.com, and I'd love to put you in touch with them. So that'll round up the live presentation for today. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you're looking to buy or sell a house in Winnipeg, again, with 12 years experience, award-winning RE/MAX agent, call me anytime, 204-333-2202. That's been Bo Kaufman with RE/MAX Performance Realty. Till next time, bye-bye.